Hello students, welcome to English classes. Sonia Pandey here. Today we are going to study and discuss the poem The Schoolboy, composed by William Blake. This is taken from your book Honeydew for class 8, book syllabus CBSE. Well students, you can see the two pictures that are visible to you on the slide. One is that of a classroom and the other one is that of a natural environment. This is what the major theme of the poem is, which we shall learn gradually. Right now, let's just have a short glimpse on who the poet was. William Blake was an English poet, painter, and a printmaker. He was born on 28 November 1757 at London in the United Kingdom. He died on the 12th of August 1827 at London in United Kingdom. So The Schoolboy is a 1789 poem by him, and it was published as a part of his poetry collection entitled Songs of Experience. We are going to understand deeply what William Blake thought of the education system that prevailed in his days through this poem. Let's look at the preview of what William Blake suggests in this poem. The poet William Blake discusses how the educational system of his times is destroying the childhood and innocence of young children who spend their days in sighing and dismay when in school. The poet looks at childhood as one of the formative phases of a person's life, wherein the person learns from his immediate surroundings and nature. The poet states that the education system spoils the innocence of children and stunts their development. He believes that imagination and freedom and to learn from the natural environment builds the personality of a child. So this is what the poem is talking about. We will discuss in detail the poem and the contents in the poem in our coming slides. Okay, children, now for the explanation. The Schoolboy by William Blake. I love to rise in a summer morn when the birds sing on every tree, the distant huntsman winds his horn, and the skylark sings with me. Oh, what sweet company! In the opening stanzas, here the speaker, that is a little boy, shares his delight on waking up to see a summer morning. He admires the pleasant sound of the birds singing on the tree and the huntsman who at a particular distance blows his horn. This atmosphere he finds very pleasant, that he thinks that the skylarks sing with him. He finds the company of all these elements of nature very soothing. Let's understand this first stanza with the word meanings too. Morning, in short, is written as morn, so that the rhyming scheme is formed. Huntsman stands for hunter. Vines is blows, and skylark is a singing bird. Well, children, the second stanza, but to go to school in a summer morn, oh, it drives all joy away. Under a cruel eye outworn, the little ones spend the day in sighing and dismay. Here the mood changes. The poet, through the little boy, highlights how this boy hated going to school on such pleasant summer mornings. The lines say that he is deprived from all his joys. He hated spending his day under the supervision of a strict teacher or under the strict atmosphere of the school with boring lectures and classes. The boy there in the classroom is forced to do what the teacher expects him to do. He, on the other hand, wanted to enjoy the gaiety of the summer morning. So his mood is now gloomy, he is sad, he is upset, and he does not enjoy the classroom atmosphere. Those two words that indicates this mood are sighing and dismay. Here, drives stands for kills or is over, like it throws all the joy away. It actually, all the joy vanish. Under a cruel eye outworn indicates the strict atmosphere or the strict teacher under whose guidance the child has to spend the day. Sighing and dismay is the mood expressed, and the mood changes. The mood here was happy and gay, while the mood here now changes to sadness or unhappiness. The next stanza again continues with the situations that the child faces or experiences in the classroom. Ah, then at times I drooping sit and spend many an anxious hour, nor in my book can I take delight, nor sit in learning's bower, worn through with a dreary shower. So in this stanza, the poet shows how the boy gets frustrated by the boring teaching methods adopted in the school. The boy shares with the readers his weariness or his tiredness. He is tired and frustrated to the core, and he spends his hours at school in great restlessness and anxiety. He takes no delight in his lessons. He feels that there is nothing refreshing about going to school and learning something new because everything was taught in an extremely dull way. The boy therefore draws a certain correlation between the learning's bower and the dreary shower. It is indicating the boring lectures. Now the boring lectures are given by the teacher. He is not able to concentrate in studies. Bower generally stands for a beautiful garden where he could have studied without a teacher, experiencing through nature. But then he cannot enjoy that because he has to sit in the classroom all tired, and he also has to listen to the lectures of the teachers, which actually causes boredom to him. So the meanings drooping and anxious, which stands for gloominess, tiredness, laziness, as well as restlessness, are what decides the mood of the poet. Sorry, it's not mood of the poet, mood of the child or the student who is sitting in the class. Okay, so let's discuss the next two stanzas. How can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? How can a child, when fears annoy, but droop his tender wing and forget his youthful spring? Here the poet affirms that the boy desires for freedom. How do we understand that? The boy draws an imagery of a bird. A bird is actually born to be joyous and spread happiness through his singing. But this he could do only if he is free and not caged. Similarly, the young child in his childhood is learning to spread his wings or to become conscious of the world around him. So the constant fear or threat or instructions or guidelines or a lot of discipline and a lot of restrictions. The poet tells that the boy feels that he would droop his tender wing. He would not be able to have a youthful spring. He would not be able to become a successful youth because he will be having a stunted growth in his childhood. He will not be able to grow freely. Just like a caged bird cannot sing freely and happily, a boy who is under a lot many fears and a lot many anxieties will not be able to grow into a successful youth. In the last stanza, O father and mother, if buds are nipped and blossoms blown away, and if the tender plants are stripped of their joy in the springing day by sorrow and care's dismay. Here, the poet expresses that the boy is addressing to his parents and explaining to them that if buds are nipped, then no one would have ever known the beauty and fragrance of a flower. Similarly, if plants are cut or destroyed when they were still tender, when they were still small and young, spring would never be a happy occasion, which means the plants would never bear good fruits because they are stripped or deprived of growth. Anything that is obstructed from the growth in a very tender age, the boy says, is ruined for a lifetime because there will be only sorrow and there will be only depression or sadness that will remain, which will not help a child to grow as a successful youth. The final last two lines, how shall the summer arise in joy or the summer fruits appear? So this couplet is an extension of the point that the poet made in the previous stanza. That is, if everything is destroyed before its time, if buds would not bloom into flowers, plants would not be able to grow to bear ripe fruits, then there will be no joy. Similarly, A child requires the right kind of mixture of love, care, affection, and the most is the freedom to become a pleasant and soothing person. Only then will he be able to grow into a youth who can be successful in life and who will be able to bear or respond to the problems and situations he might face in his life. So, this is the explanation of the poem The Schoolboy, composed by William Blake. In the next class, we will be discussing on the poetic devices of this particular poem. Thank you very much and have a nice day.